This is the story of the one. As head of maintenance at a concert hall, he knows the show must always go on. That's why he works behind the scenes, ensuring every light is working, the HVAC is humming, and his facility shines. With Grainger's supplies and solutions for every challenge he faces, plus 24/7 customer support, his venue never misses a beat. Call quickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Joe Dredge. Hey. Mornings on WROK. Over 95 years in the books and still on top. This is Rockford's News Talk 1440 WROK.
6 minutes after 8 o'clock at News Talk 1440 WROK. Thursday morning, Riley and Joe, cloudy, 65 degrees. That's where we sit. 81. Let me double check here. Yeah, 81's where we're going. Sun should be coming out and about a 5% chance of us getting any rain.
That's bad.
80 tomorrow, partly sunny and a 6% chance. Saturday's all sun all day and 83 with a 5% chance. Sunday's partly sunny at 86 with a 20% chance, and Monday's partly sunny 85 with another 20% chance.
Alrighty.
That's what's going on, and of course, if you should hear noise in the background, there's nothing wrong with your car. If you're listening in the car, that's not coming from under your hood. If you're at home, nothing has hit your roof.
It's just hitting our roof.
It's hitting our roof. We're having a new roof put on the building. We're, according to the memo yesterday from Priscilla, about a week.
About a week, okay.
About a week. And today's demo day.
Yeah.
And, man, they're going to town up there.
Yes, they are.
Said to Olivia a second ago, I didn't know they were going to put a train in up there.
Right, but it's nice.
Apparently we do have a train up there now.
New station up there.
Yeah, it's a little on the loud side. So should you hear anything during a segment, that's what it is. There's nothing going on with your home or your car.
We'll be good here.
Yeah, I think we should be okay.
Yeah.
Now, if someone crashes through their ceiling and lands in the studio in the middle of chatting with Dennis,
do we take the rest of the show off? I don't know.
I think just out of respect. Out of respect from the person who will be injured by falling into the studio.
I don't know the protocol.
It would be weird. Okay, well, we'll do a segment, drag a body.
Dust him
do a
off.
segment, drag
Right.
a body. Yeah, that's going to get old after a while. All right, let's move on to the business at hand, and that is spending some time with our good friend and director of the Rockford Regional Office of the Better Business Bureau, right in the middle of a good cough there. It's our friend, Dennis Horton.
Sorry, Dennis, I turned you up a little early.
Well done, Joe.
Thank you.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Yeah, good, but you all right?
I think I'm going to survive.
Okay. Yeah, I've had that happen before where right before we've gone on, I've had a slug of coffee and wrong piped it. There's no getting past that. There's no faking your way through that. There's no nothing. You're just going to have to let it fly.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, I wasn't drinking the tea yet.
Okay. Well, maybe something stronger. Whatever it takes to get you through a morning segment, that's what we say around here. All right. Looking at
something stronger at 8:09.
Why not? It's 5 o'clock somewhere. Looking at your list of topics this morning. Now, this is something that should have people concerned. World Elder Abuse Day. Now, what if I don't know an elderly person to abuse? Will you set me up with one, or how does that work?
You're talking to one.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Boy, you're on a roll this morning.
Yeah, I know. I'll send you an apology note when this is all done. Believe me.
Yes, today, June 15th, is World Elder Abuse Day, and we're concerned about this on two fronts. One, there is the financial abuse of our older citizens, and also the emotional, physical abuse of them. What we see here is a problem, especially in terms of financial, a problem that runs into the billions of dollars. And the unfortunate thing is that the financial abuse usually occurs with someone that the individual knows, a family member or a caretaker who takes advantage of them, and is especially damaging when that individual is early stage of dementia or early onset Alzheimer's, and they get all of their life savings often ripped off. And in many cases, other family members are unaware of it. This is why we're talking about it, so that other family members can keep their eyes and ears peeled for things that are taking place that are harming the senior. What they should be looking for, especially in terms of financial abuse, is all of a sudden there is unusual activity in the individual's bank accounts, including large and frequent and unexplained withdrawals. The person has never used an ATM and now does have a debit card that is being used at ATMs. What we're also looking for are withdrawals from bank accounts and transfers to someone else's account, large accounts. So these things are some red flags that other family members or caretakers should be looking for, just to make sure that things are that the individual is being treated correctly.
Absolutely. And there's a bunch of signs and symptoms you can look for. As you mentioned, some of them, injuries such as bruises, cuts, or broken bones, malnourishment or weight loss, poor hygiene, symptoms of anxiety, depression, or confusion, unexplained transactions, or loss of money is a big one there, and withdrawal from family and friends. And usually those two things will go hand in hand because of maybe perhaps embarrassment over what has happened.
Exactly. And it is... this is an issue that as we grow older, or we've seen our parents grow older, and they are unable to, in some cases, take care of their own finances and even look out for their own health. And they get taken advantage of. And in some cases, especially in terms of health, it can lead to their death. So it's a very serious problem, and it is something that everybody, as we age and as you watch your parents age or other family members age, to be aware of, to make sure that they are being taken care of and not being abused.
Yeah, it's very important, and because without you looking in on them, who else is going to do so? And it also is one of those things you need to pay attention to what's going on around. Let's say it's your parents, your grandparents, something like that. Kind of know some of the patterns of their life, so you'll know when something is amiss.
Right, and it need not be a family member, your next door neighbor, your elderly next door neighbor. Have a conversation, so that they at least also are thinking about it and are checking their own accounts, making sure that things are on the up and up. Sometimes, being very trusting, they don't even bother to take a look. So if you have an elderly neighbor or a friend, have the conversation just so that they don't get themselves into a situation that they don't have any control over. And are being abused.
And for people wondering, well, how prevalent is this? According to the National Institute on Aging, estimates are that 1 in 10 older people here in America suffers from some type of abuse every year, yet signs of elder abuse often go unreported and abusers go unpunished.
Right, and we really do want them to be caught and punished.
Yes. There's go ahead.
I recall reading several months ago that the Illinois Attorney General's office is the place where you can file a complaint, or so that an investigation can get underway. And if you know someone who you feel is being abused, go ahead and contact authorities and let them know so that there is an investigation before, unfortunately, before it's too late and that person is severely injured or financially devastated.
Yep. And if you want to know more, just a quick Google on World Elder Abuse Awareness Day, elder abuse awareness, anything like that. You'll get a whole bunch of things that will pop up on your search engine. And, there's a bunch of really, really good information there. I'm glad you brought that to the forefront. Next on our list, utility scams are on the rise.
Yes, indeed. It happens every year, and it was. I was reminded of it yesterday when I got a phone call from an individual who lost $850.
Wow.
It's the same. Yes, $800. Yeah, $800, $850. It's the same scam that we talk about every year, and here as we are now approaching 81 today.
Yep.
And we're going to be, with our air conditioners on and working. It is the same scam. You get an imposter will call saying they're from ComEd or your electricity provider, and tells you that your service will be cut off if you don't pay an overdue bill immediately over the phone. That's how it works.
Yep.
And an individual, even though you may know that your utility payment is done automatically, it's an auto pay, you get a call from someone who sounds like they're legitimate, and this individual forked over $850. And when I got the call yesterday, I said, well, this is a topic that we just simply want to remind people of, that it happens every year at this time. And it's not only just does it impact individuals, but it also impacts, it also impacts businesses. They also get those same kinds of calls. And I recall 2 years ago, or it's actually been longer than that, owner of a business here downtown called me and said that he had just lost $1,500 because he got that call and paid it over the phone. And lost that money. So we want to, keep people from falling victim to this scam again, like the gentleman who called yesterday and had lost $850. Getting that money back is next to impossible, unfortunately. So forewarned is forearmed.
And is one of the symptoms of how this goes down what you've warned us about this for years now at this point, where you got to do it now, we're going to shut you off now, and we would like you to do it through gift cards.
That's right, yeah. Now, using Zelle and Venmo or Instant Pay services, Cash App, instead of as frequently as it used to be gift cards. Go get the gift card and give us the PIN number, and we'll take care of it for you, not to worry. Now, they're asking you to pay immediately through Zelle or a Cash App like that.
So the minute you see something like that should be one of the biggest red flags that you pick up of all. Is first off, they're not going to call and demand payment, or you're going to get disconnected by the time the phone call is done. That's not the way they do business. But when they're asking you for these alternative forms of payment, that should send warnings through everything.
That's right. And as you pointed out, the utility company is not going to call you and demand payment. You will get a letter or a notification prior to any disconnection. So if you get that call, you can rest assured that your utility is not going to be shut off. But if you are concerned about it, do not make payment to anybody over the phone, someone that you don't know. Hang up and call your utility company.
Yep, and especially the people who demand immediate payment by the time the phone call is done.
Especially in any, and as we talk about these scams or other issues, when there is an immediate sense of urgency that is trying to make you do something immediately, you're dealing with someone who is out to do damage to you.
Yep, they're hoping that sense of urgency will override your ability to think, and you'll just act and get them the money. And by the time you figured out that maybe this wasn't quite right, they're long gone.
Yep, and that's exactly what happens. And it is the same the way that many scammers operate on the fear factor, make you afraid, and you will do as they wish.
Yeah, well, don't let them scare you. And as Dennis said, somebody calls you and they're demanding payment and all that, hang up. Call your utility at the number you know your utility can be reached at and ask them those questions. And I'm guessing that there's every chance they're going to tell you, we have no idea what this is about, but you're good.
Yes. And the utility companies are fully aware that this is the time of the year when this scam resurges.
All right, let's be careful with that one. And finally on the list this morning, refurbished products scams.
Yeah, this one came to mind after actually my sister was complaining to me about something she had ordered, and she said it happened a couple of times, and so I re-looked into it, and there is an issue with purchasing refurbished products. When you aren't paying attention to, or you're thinking that I'll buy this product from one of the online retailers, and you get the product, and it's not what you expected it to be, it is an issue that is taking place not a lot, according to our Scam Tracker report. Excuse me. Con artists are ripping off customers by promising a great deal on like-new devices that are never delivered.
Oh.
So what? Therein lies the problem. You, especially if you aren't dealing with one of the major online retailers, and you see a pop-up ad for a product that you are interested in, and you go ahead and you go through the steps of purchasing that product, and then you get a confirmation email, but you never get anything else. You get the email saying it's on its way, and then it never comes. And then you try to contact the company that you was selling the product to you, and you get excuses. Oh, FedEx, it's a problem at FedEx, or the post office. Oh, it should be there. We've tracked it, and you never get your product. Or you do get a product, and it's not what you expected it to be. It is not like new. It has been refurbished to some degree, but it is not like new. And then you are left trying to return that product, and in many cases, you find that difficult to do. And if you've paid like with your debit card, you have maybe lost your money. If you have paid with your credit card, you can dispute it and have a much better chance of getting your money refunded to you.
This is one of those things that you have told us time and time again. If you're going to make these purchases and all that, do it on your credit card rather than on your debit card, because if once it's that money is funneled out of your bank account, very little can be done with it. But if it's on a credit card, then the credit card company will step up for the fight.
Yes, and especially in this case, before you even make the purchase, whether you're using your debit card or the credit card, make sure that you check out that website. Google that website. It's easy to do, and if there's been an issue, someone else has been impacted and has probably complained about it or gone online and written a review about this website. Don't trust this website or what have you. Make sure you've checked them out before you make the purchase.
Yeah.
Also, you need to understand what refurbished means, because it could be different from one retailer to the next. Refurbished could mean that it was a demo, or like, as they say, a floor model, or that refurbished doesn't mean that it has been taken apart and put back together with all new parts. It could just mean that somebody picked it up, this returned item, looked at it and said, well, we have it. It looks clean, and sends it to you. So make sure that you understand before you make the purchase what they mean by refurbished.
I have read a couple of different accounts of that where one person, I think it was a leaf blower, a refurbished leaf blower that they bought that did not work at all. And the refurbishment basically broke down to somebody took a paper towel and wiped it down before putting it in the box and sending it to this person.
Exactly. Yeah, and that is a major problem. And I'll keep in mind, if you're looking for a deal and you want to do the refurbished product, you're running the risk. You
want to go with someone who's going to stand behind that product, because I have seen reputable places say, yeah, this is a refurbished product that still carries with it a full guarantee.
Yes. And make sure that you understand what the return policies are. You can take a while, and In some cases, they're going to charge you that restocking fee.
Well, that's better than losing everything. So, yeah, let them do it.
Yeah. But when you are buying refurbished products, just know that you're taking a risk here.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep, you're taking a risk with a lot of these things, and if it weren't for the efforts of the Better Business Bureau and you, Dennis, a lot of us would never know about all these things until it was far too late, so we appreciate that. Now, for anybody who's caught on to anything that you've mentioned from World Elder Abuse Awareness, utility scams, refurbished products, and all that, how do they reach out and make contact with you?
First, look for the sign of a better business. I always like to tell people before you make these decisions, but you can reach us at area code 815-963-2222.
That's all there is to it. The BBB working hard for you every single day of the year. Dennis, as always, the time, the expertise, the great information. I can't tell you how much we appreciate it. We'll look forward to getting together again in a couple of weeks.
Thank you, Riley. You have a great rest of the week.
There's our friend Dennis Horton. He's director of the Rockford Regional Office of the Better Business Bureau. 826. Here's Hannity.
Turn up your...
Over 95 years in the books and still on top. This is Rockford's News Talk 1440 WROK.
It's 8:36 now at News Talk 1440 WROK. It's Riley and Joe on a Thursday morning. Partly cloudy skies. 67 degrees is what we have going on now. No reports of fog in any of the low-lying areas anymore. That seems to be out of here. Humidity's dropped down from that 98% we had earlier to 75%. So there's a step in the right direction. Winds are still calm. So 67 is where we are. 81 is where we're going. It's been cleaned up a little bit. A lot more sun than clouds. We had kind of a mix going before, but now the lean is now toward sunshine today.
Sunshine, very hot.
And only a 5% chance of precipitation. 80 tomorrow, partly sunny and a 5% chance. Saturday's 85 and sunny with a 5% chance. Sunday's 86, partly sunny with a 20% chance. And Monday's the same, exactly the same, 86 and a 20% chance.
Okay.
That's what we're looking at.
Like that a lot.
All right, being that it's Thursday and out of the 8:30 news, it's time for another edition of What's Up, Doc, where we get to spend some time with the healthcare experts at Mercy Health. We learn lots of things from all of them, and we've been doing this for 2 or 3 years now. And, Joe and I think about opening up our own clinic.
I think we're qualified.
Yeah, we've taken enough notes now that we think we might be able to get it off the ground. Maybe a few more just to really fine-tune things.
Sure, why not?
This morning, the topic is family medicine, and our guest is Dr. Fahim Ahmad. Dr. Ahmad, good morning to you.
Good morning. Thank you for having me once again on your show.
Oh, it's a pleasure to have you back with us once again. Tell us a little bit about you.
Yeah, so, this is the second time that I'm being on your show.
Yeah,
My name is Dr.
Welcome to the Two Timers Club, man.
Yeah, the Two Timers Club. There's a bonus in it for you.
Thank you, and it's an honor and pleasure to be on your show once again. So my name is Dr. Fahim Ahmad. I'm one of the senior residents, so I'm a third-year resident in the family medicine residency program at Mercy Health Javon Bay Hospital in Rockford, Illinois. I'm towards the end of my residency, actually, so I only have 2 more weeks after this one, and June 30th is my last day in residency.
And then what?
Congratulations, first of all.
Yeah. Oh, thank you very much. Thank you. And then I'm one of those residents who want to learn more. So 1 more year of fellowship I want to do, subspecialize in sports medicine.
Outstanding. Well, outstanding. That's terrific. The amount of work that has been put into what you have accomplished so far and what you intend to accomplish as you go down the line, that's highly, highly impressive.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's totally worth it, though, because, when I see my patients, when I'm able to get that gratitude by, taking care of them, that's totally worth it.
Has sports medicine been something you've always been interested in, or is this 3-year residency kind of opened your eyes to what you actually want to do later in life?
So, before I started my residency, I was working with orthopedic surgeons, so I kind of had an edge and my liking towards the MSK, the musculoskeletal, parts in our body. And in my residency, the mentor that I have, he is a phenomenal physician, Dr. Rizzo. So he actually inspired me more so, and then the opportunities came, and then I applied for fellowship, and, I'm one of the 2 residents that got approved for the position. So, yeah.
Outstanding. Well, I think your patients are very, very lucky to have you. Our topic this morning, scheduling your child's school and sports physicals. And, being of a certain age, I remember going back when sports was going on in school. Our sports physical was basically my dad looking at me going, well, yeah, you should do fine. Get out there. I don't remember a stethoscope. I don't remember anything else. I just remember him going, yeah, you look like you're strong enough. Get out there and go play. Or don't. When should you schedule your child for their back to school and sports physicals? Are they the same thing? Do they widely vary? Do you need to separate them? You try to do it all at once? What's the best way of going about that, Dr. Ahmad?
So that's a very good question. We get that question a lot in our clinic. So the annual physical and sports physical are basically the same but different, and I'll explain why. Because in the annual physical exam, it actually focuses more so on overall healthy being, and then, keeping yourself healthy, identifying the risk factors. At times, we also, offer some immunizations, some vaccines, and, other times we can also do some lab work. This is all in annual physical. In sports physical, what we do is we mostly focus on identifying your risk factors for playing any sports in general, and I'll give you examples for those conditions as well. And then in particular, if you're playing any particular type of sports, let's say you're playing baseball, you're a pitcher, then we want to make sure that you're not doing something which would make you more at risk for getting shoulder injuries, in particular like labral injury or a rotator cuff injury, which are the muscles and different structures in the shoulder. So that's just an example. And in general, when I mentioned, I'll give you an example, is you might have heard, and you might have seen some videos on online platforms that sometimes an athlete just drops dead or something happens. In those cases, there are certain conditions that we need to identify your risk factors for. One of them is called HOCM. It's HOCM, hypertrophic obstructive cardiomyopathy. I know it's a fancy term, but basically we just want to make sure that you don't have any of those risk factors for developing a heart condition, an irregular heartbeat, or abnormally high amount of muscles in your heart that would put you at risk if you exert yourself and go into a shock or go into a heart attack.
Whenever we see something like that, Doctor, it's often remarked upon in the news story due to a previously undiscovered fill in the blank. And that's what you're talking about. You want to make sure you discover that.
Exactly, and that's what we want as a physician. That's our job, to make sure that we do everything right by you, by making sure that we identify those risk factors.
Say, have in the last couple of years, has any particular symptom or diagnosis popped up more frequently these days than they have maybe 10, 15 years ago?
That's a very good question. Yes, I think the most we have been seeing in the past couple of years that is out of the ordinary is more respiratory problems. In the beginning, when we had the COVID, people had some symptoms that we were calling the post-COVID syndrome. People were having fatigue, tired feeling, short of breath, exertional dyspnea, which is a little bit of discomfort in the chest when they would exert themselves. That was relatively uncommon before, when compared to before COVID-19. And after what we did was, when we took the masks off, then all these other type of respiratory illnesses like the rhinovirus, which is the adenovirus, common cold, that came back pretty, a little bit more aggressive than we would have expected from before COVID. I guess we were not used to it, or we were having herd immunity, or we were having some kind of protection against these viruses by using masks and social distancing. So yeah, that would be, I think, the top two in my clinical practice and what I have seen in my clinic in the past 2.5, 3 years.
Okay. Now, for people who are looking at their own kid and going, all right, not a fall sports kid, but more of a winter sports, or where we're going to catch it next spring and all that, should you schedule the appointment now to cover until then, or is it an appointment you need to make or right before that season begins?
Yeah, so I would highly recommend that you schedule your kids for, or your children for the sports physical and annual physical as soon as possible, because number one, the schedules fill up pretty quick this time of the year, because, it's preschool, it's, right before the school year begins. Everybody wants to be ready. That's number one reason. Number two, you don't want to miss your child to miss any of your of their school days or their work days, because if there is some need for lab work, if there's some need for immunizations and vaccines, and if they have to be rescheduled, then you want them to be done before they start their school so that you can avoid the schedule interruption. So I would highly recommend that you schedule them as soon as possible.
Doctor, you mentioned you're going into sports medicine, kind of a specialty, and just a question, maybe moving away from the physicals a little bit. Anecdotally, maybe we've heard, I've heard a lot that the specialization of youth sports is becoming a little bit more detrimental to our young kids' health, and the days of a kid playing, football in the fall and basketball in the winter and then baseball in the spring, it's kind of gone away. Your multi-sport athletes isn't as prolific as we used to see. Is that true that kids are maybe focusing or putting too much burden on one particular muscle group or joint by doing these specialized sports programs throughout the year? Starting at I mean, kids are doing travel ball at like 8 years old now. Have you seen that, or has that been? We have a doctor on our show now. I'd like to get actual proof that maybe is a true thing.
Well, I don't have scientific evidence to back my comments on this subject, but what I would say is that's why we have these athletic trainers. That's why we have the therapists, including the occupational therapist, the physical therapist. We work in collaboration with these people. They identify. We work in collaboration to identify the weaker muscle groups in your body, and then the stronger one, and then. In order for you to do one function, let's say you want to lift up your thigh. So the front of the thigh muscle works to contract, and then at the same time, the muscle in the back of your thigh has to relax for the function to be completed, for that one action to be completed. These, different athletic trainers, different physicians, the sports medicine in particular, we identify those groups of muscles, and then we work on them. So if you're, if you're a right hand dominant pitcher, we try to make your left hand as closely, functioning as to your right side. There's always going to be some difference between the functioning. But if you don't use a muscle group, it can atrophy. It can cause, it can become weaker with time. So your point is valid, but we try our best to not let that happen in the long run.
Outstanding. Gotcha. Doctor, before we let you go, because we're up against the clock and we know that you're very, very busy, what haven't we asked you about child school and sports physicals or anything that falls under that umbrella that you think it's important for people to know? Well,
I think it's a very important question for people to know. We as healthcare providers, we follow CDC guidelines. We follow these bigger organizations who have worked decades of research, and then they come up with these conclusions. So, when you talk to your provider, do ask them questions because, we might not be able to explain it in a way that you would, want it to be explained. But do ask us as many questions as you want. We never get bothered. No question is a silly question. And we're always there to help you answer your questions, especially at Mercy Health. We have a residency program here at the Family Medicine Residency, and we always, if we come up with some question that we're not able to answer at that time, we always sit in a group, we discuss the matter, and we look at different evidence-based medicine that has happened in the past decades, and then we come up with a conclusion. And we will always reach out to you again, and then we will discuss the same thing with you. So in the last, I would just say if you have any questions or concerns, do write them on a piece of paper. Just come up to us in your appointment, during your appointment, or just give us a call or send us a MyChart message, which is the electronic way to send us a text message, and we will come back with the right information and we'll guide you through.
Outstanding. Yeah, that MyChart way of reaching out, that's really cool. I like the MyChart app. Use that quite frequently. That's a great way to get a rapport going between you and your doctor. If you have questions and don't have time for an appointment, you just need a quick, maybe a one-sentence response to something, that's a great way of doing it.
Yes, exactly.
All right. Dr. Ahmad, you have enlightened us once again. I wouldn't be a bit surprised if we invite you back to be a member of the three-time club here on What's Up, Doc. It's very exclusive.
I'm honored. Thank you very much. It's always a pleasure being on your show.
Thanks, Dr. Ahmad. Have a terrific day.
You too. You're welcome.
There we go. There's Dr. Fahim Ahmad with Mercy Health, 849 News Talk 1440 WROK.
These days, having versatile clothing you can wear anywhere is a must. That's why American Giant makes all sorts of versatile any-weather staples, hoodies, jackets, and more. Whether you're buying a gift or stocking your closet, you'll find just what you need. And it's all made right here in the USA. Find your new wardrobe staples at American-Giant.com. And get 20% off your order when you use code ANYSTYLE24 at checkout. That's 20% off at American-Giant.com. Promo code ANYSTYLE24.